Dante Kane did not develop much hatred toward Zane Martel, but the host of the body, Alex Harper, hated Zane Martel to the core. Out of loyalty and for the sake of keeping a promise, Dante Kane would have to kill Zane Martel. It was not Dante Kane's first time killing someone who had nothing to do with him. Victor Quinn's heart sank, and his expression became much more solemn. Sure enough, Dante Kane intended to kill Zane Martel.
Well, it's better that he's not here. I can save energy. I'd do more than skin him alive if he dares show up.
Zane Martel, he's not here yet.
If he's not here, did he die in the strange little world? That's not strange. The strange little world is indeed a dangerous place.
Alex Harper. No, Dante Kane. Are you Alex Harper or Dante Kane now?
Everyone else shifted their gaze on Victor Quinn and Dante Kane. They grew curious about Dante Kane's identity. Dante Kane's display of strength now was unusually powerful. They felt he did not look like a top martial artist in the expert level, but was already in the semi-martial king level. Suddenly, Dante Kane stopped in his tracks and slowly turned around. His expression turned cold, and murderous intent surged within his eyes. Dante Kane reached out a hand. A mighty oppressive force descended from the sky, like a giant mountain pressing down on Victor Quinn. Victor Quinn felt his bones cracking all over. His face was flushed red, and his body went limp, almost falling on his knees. With a flick Dante Kane's finger, a powerful cyclone flew towards Victor Quinn. Victor Quinn's expression changed. He quickly merged the power of fire and wind and struck out with another cyclone. An exploding sound rang out, swirling the sand all around as it howled with the wind. Victor Quinn was thrown back dozens of meters like a human cannonball. He rolled several times in the air before crashing to the ground. He groaned and spat out blood. His face was drained of color, and his expression turned grim. Strong, too powerful. Dante Kane's power was beyond imagination. He felt like a top martial artist in the semi-martial king level instead of someone in the expert level. Only those in the semi-martial king level could display such power. The crowd gasped at that sight. Dante Kane's display of strength surely lived up to his name. They immediately regarded Dante Kane as the most powerful person. It seemed like he would become the dragon envoy of Newland this time.
An insignificant insect like you is in no place to judge my identity. I will kill you if you dare make such a wild assumption again.
Although Dante Kane's tone was rather calm, his aura was like an emperor, leaving no room for people to disobey him. A loud buzz rang out. Dark lights emitted from the hundreds of tombstones around them. The light rays trembled together before surging into the sky and combining mid-air. The color of the sky changed. The dark clouds gathered together and formed a huge vortex. A hole in the center of the vortex emitted a bright light.
Look, that's the entrance to the final assessment venue.
This time I must become the Dragon Envoy of Carlton.
The Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Becoming the Dragon Envoy of Carlton will make me surrender to only one person as I dominate the rest. The Dragon Envoy of Carlton. I'm coming for that title.
Instantly, everyone flew into the sky and toward the center of the vortex.
Lord, should we get moving too?
I've been trapped in this damn place for so many years. I can finally leave this place now. Ethan Haddon, let's go and see how many things have changed in the outside world.
Dante Kane couldn't stifle a burst of excited laughter. In a flash, his body transformed into an azure light beam as he charged into the center of the vortex. Ethan Haddon followed closely behind. Paulson Colt watched as Dante Kane and Ethan Haddon flew away. Then he looked at Victor Quinn, who slumped on the floor solemnly. However, he was not afraid of Dante Kane at all. Instead, he curled his lips into a rather vicious smile.
Ha, Dante Kane, you will become my stepping stone and contribute to my journey of making a name on the final assessment venue. Disciples of Dino Valley, follow me.
Paulson Colt laughed out loud and flew into the vortex.
Move!
Let's move now.
Medicine Costa hurriedly walked to Victor Quinn and asked with concern. Victor Quinn was injured, but it was not fatal. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and waved his hand.
Victor, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just a little worried about Zane Martel.
Medicine Costa's expression looked grim too. Zane Martel was yet to show up, but even if he did, he might not end up well. Almost everyone else wanted to kill Zane Martel. Once Zane Martel appeared, he would likely end up miserably. Right then, a shocking sound broke through the air, like a bolt of thunder cutting through the clear sky. It was so fast that they couldn't see it in the first second, but it appeared above Victor Quinn and Medicine Costa in the next second.
Zane Martel.
Victor Quinn was thrilled to see the figure was none other than Zane Martel, but his expression turned gloomy in the next second.
Zane Martel, you are finally here. I thought you ran into some trouble in the strange little world.
Zane Martel slowly descended and landed next to them, saying calmly,
I did run into some unexpected episodes, but I overcame it.
In fact, Zane Martel could have arrived long ago, but he stopped traveling at night to kill more ghost soldiers and collect more moon soul pearls. He almost couldn't make it in time because of the spontaneous hunt.
Wait, Victor, are you injured?
Zane Martel frowned slightly when he took in Victor Quinn's slightly vulnerable look.
I'm fine. Zane Martel, you must be careful about Dante Kane. He's way too powerful. I think he can be the Dragon Envoy of Carlton this time.
Victor Quinn waved his hand and took out a bottle of elixir, taking some of them as he warned Zane Martel.
Dante Kane didn't see you, so he vented his anger on Victor Quinn. If he didn't hold back his power, I guess Dante Kane would have killed both of us by now.
Zane Martel's face darkened when he heard that.
Also, Dante Kane and Ethan Haddon are actually Alex Harper and Arthur Conan. Not only have their auras changed, but they also got ridiculously powerful. Also, it's even stranger that Ethan Haddon calls Dante Kane his lord. Dante Kane also acts like a king. Don't you think it's strange?
Hearing that, Zane Martel frowned slightly. After a moment of silence, he drew a conclusion.
I'm afraid Dante Kane and Ethan Haddon are not exactly Alex Harper and Arthur Conan. They must have possessed their bodies.
Possessed their bodies?
They were both startled but quickly accepted the conclusion. Ordinary people could not get rid of the ghost soldiers in the strange little world. If the ghost soldiers possessed their bodies, they would experience repulsion. It would feel like something was snatching the ownership of the body from them. Hence, Zane Martel and the other two assumed that was what happened to Dante Kane and Ethan Haddon.
Zane Martel, Dante Kane is really powerful. I'm not joking. You should avoid fighting him if possible. Just surrender if you are to face him. There's a rule that one shouldn't kill their opponent on the final assessment set by the Carlton Dragon Palace. He can't do anything to you if you surrender.
Zane Martel curled his lips into a cold sneer, and a glint shone in his eyes. Surrender? How could he surrender? Zane Martel would not surrender, and he would even become the Dragon Envoy of Newland.
Don't worry, I know what to do. The passage is activated. Let's get moving now.
The two nodded and flew into the vortex with Zane Martel. As they rushed into the vortex, Zane Martel felt dizzy. He could see stars around him, and the semi-dragon finger bone he tied on his back emitted a faint golden ray. The light emitted and soon dispersed all the unusual situations around him. The next second, Zane Martel landed on a 100-meter-wide lake. A thick mist enveloped the area. In front of him was a long flight of stairs that extended from the center of the lake to the clouds. No one knew where the stairs led to.
I guess this is our final challenge. As long as we pass the challenge on the stairs, we will become the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. If I can pass the last challenge, I can even be qualified to be selected as the Dragon Envoy of Newland.
Something competitive rose in Zane Martel's heart. Zane Martel had learned about the mechanism of the selection long ago, when he participated in the selection of the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. The selection would focus on selecting 3 different roles. The first was the Carlton Guards. The Carlton Guards weren't the Dragon Envoy of Carlton, and their status was inferior to the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. They were more like the guards serving a kingdom. The Carlton Dragon Palace boasted countless Carlton Guards in service, revered throughout the tranquil sea region. The second role was the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Above them stood the leaders of the Dragon Envoy of Carlton, divided into the 4 sides Dragon Envoy: Fushia, Newland, Zelo, and Benzia. Each envoy represented formidable combat prowess and unique talents, honed through rigorous training under the Carlton Dragon Palace. Zane Martel observed his surroundings. Aside from him, there was no one in sight.
I guess this space is actually a unique formation. Everyone that gets inside will be sent into separate areas. Alright, I should get moving to the stairs to see what's hidden among the clouds.
Zane Martel took a step onto the first stair. In the next moment, an extremely heavy pressure erupted from his body, like a giant mountain pressing onto him. Zane Martel's body sank under the pressure.
I knew the final challenge wouldn't be so simple. Each step I take will only increase the weight pressed on me. I'm afraid the weight will be beyond my imagination if I reach the top of the stairs. Perhaps they're testing each candidate's physique with this. Unfortunately for them, this weight means nothing to my strong physique.
Zane Martel smiled calmly and walked effortlessly onto the stairs. After refining the Ghost King Dragonate, Zane Martel's physique had grown shockingly powerful. Hence, the weight could never intimidate him. Zane Martel walked up the stairs step by step. The gravity was getting heavier and heavier, but Zane Martel did not change his expression. Soon he crossed more than 100 steps. Zane Martel immediately felt pressure on his willpower.
Is the stairs releasing willpower pressure?
Zane Martel secretly gasped in shock. He had to admit that the Dragon Envoy of Carlton's final assessment was too harsh on their candidates. Still, it was not a huge issue for Zane Martel. The weight and willpower pressure were double the challenge for other candidates. Many would probably surrender up until this point. Even the Carlton guards couldn't withstand the challenges. At the center of Blood Lotus Island lay a gigantic square spanning over 10 kilometers. Layers of stands surrounded the square, accommodating tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. The spectator stands were not evenly distributed, but spread out to encircle 4 colossal battle arenas. These 4 arenas, named Dello, Nan, Zav, and B, were the venues for the final assessment of the 4 sides Dragon Envoy. At that moment, the Nan Battle Arena was split into 5 different areas. In the center stood a huge round fighting ring with the words, Dragon Envoy of Newland, inscribed on the ground. Surrounding the fighting ring was an empty area, save for a massive stone tablet labeled Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Beyond the Dragon Envoy of Carlton stone tablet area was a larger section, marked by a stone wall, and designated for the Carlton guards. Those who passed the final challenge would be directed to these areas based on skills and accomplishments. Those successful in the initial test would join the Carlton guards area. Those who completed the second challenge would be formally appointed as Dragon Envoys of Carlton and directed accordingly. Successful candidates who navigated all challenges would advance to the battle arena for the final selection of the Dragon Envoy of Newland. Those failing the challenges would face elimination. The stands in the Nan battle area buzzed with discussion as people went through the selection process among themselves. A special section was reserved for elders and leaders from the southern Tranquil Sea region. Among them, seated in the 3rd row, was Leo King from the Amor Mountains, fixated on the Carlton guards and Dragon Envoy of Carlton areas ahead.